Hi, everyone. Welcome to our chaotic stamping together fun night. I'm not sure what we want to call this. We just get together on a regular basis and love to stamp, and so glad that you are joining us. For anybody that doesn't know me, I am Betsy Kreider. I'm with Be Creative Stamping, and I live in Lewistown, Pennsylvania, which is right smack in the middle of PA. My cohort here is Mary Ellen Stites. She is a demonstrator in the St. Joe, Champaign, Illinois area. Did I get that right?
That's right.
That's right, exactly. So we are together tonight. She's with Create With Me, by the way, Create with M.E, because Mary Ellen, it's Create with her. You got to do that. I always like creating with her, so that's how this works. But we're together tonight to show you our Stamp It Your Way kit. Every month we do a Stamp It Your Way kit, and it is featuring a certain bundle or a kit bundle, or suite of product in the catalog. And this month we are showing the Inked and Tiled bundle, right? Is that the one?
Yes, the suite is called Inked Botanicals, and the bundle of products, the stamps, and there's 2 punches are called Inked and Tiled. And if you're joining us and you're not a subscriber of Stamp It Your Way, please stay with us. You can still learn the cards, and you may have that bundle in your craft stash. And if you don't, you can go ahead and order it and we'll deliver it right to your home. We're happy to do that. If you are a subscriber, these are the cards that you got in your card kit. Stamp It Your Way is a monthly card kit that we send out in the mail, or it's picked up in person from us. It is a $35 cost. You can create 8 cards, 2 of each design, and we cut everything, and then you get $20, approximately $20. We usually stick pretty close to that or go a little bit over in product. So for $35, you get $20 in product, usually paper and embellishments, ribbon, maybe a bolt of ribbon or ink, and then not ink, I meant embellishments, and then the packets with envelopes to create your own cards. So either way, we're happy that you're joining us, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Is there anything else that you want to say before I go to my desk, Betsy?
Absolutely. With Stamp It Your Way, by the way, I want to add that let's say you don't have this bundle, right? Which Mary Ellen's going to show you here in a second. Let's say you don't have that bundle at home, but you really like these cards. There always is the option, even if you don't want to have that bundle, you can stamp it your way. That's the whole why we named it the way we did. Stamp it your way. If we use an embossing folder you don't have, use a different embossing folder. Or if we use a color you don't have, use a different color. Stamp it your way. We would love to see what you're making.
Yeah.
But yeah, we love it, right? It's just so much fun.
It has been really fun. And that's the thing that I feel like we're, I hope that we're stretching people's creativity and that they're thinking, my team will laugh at me because I'm always saying, think outside the box. Like, don't get yourself pigeonholed into just saying, I have to do exactly like that. Because I know that you guys could probably do it way better than we do it, but we want to give you ideas, whether it's a fancy fold or just a different idea of using your paper and your stamps and your ink in a different way. And then you take it and you go to the next level, or you go and do it the way that you enjoy it, because we do that every day, right? We see
Exactly.
cards and then we take it and we make it more to our liking, whether we change the colors or we change the design just a little bit, or the paper that we use, or like you said, the embossing folder. So that was really important to us when we created this online class.
Absolutely. When I'm in my, my face-to-face clubs, I learn so much from my club members, especially when they do want to take it and they change it up from what I'm showing them. I learn from them and I'm learning a new idea. And it's like, well, heck, I like yours better and I like mine. Let's do it that way.
Same. I totally
Easy.
agree with
Yeah,
you. But that's where I
exactly.
think this all stemmed from. Is like, yeah, we can show you one way, but you guys could probably do it better. We try to do it the way, something that we think will be broadly appealing, and then you guys make it your
Yeah.
own.
Change it up, make it your own. A couple of things going on this month. So there's still a couple days left to bonus days. If you're not familiar with bonus days is where if you spend $50, you get a $5 bonus coupon. So if you do a $100 order, you would get 2 $5 bonus coupons. They get emailed to you directly from Stampin' Up when you place your order. And those $5 coupon codes then you can use on your orders in August. So it's like, you know, bonus bucks, right? So bonus days, you're getting $5 for every 50 that you spend in July to work towards you for $5 towards your orders in August. So there's a couple more days left of that. So don't miss out on that. And I don't know about you, but the online exclusives has been just a roller coaster ride of in stock, out of stock, in stock, out of stock. So be patient with us. Online exclusives, definitely check them out, especially because they introduce a lot of Christmas stuff, holiday, winter themed stuff. The designer series paper, that 6x6 open horse sleigh paper, I think is one of my all-time favorite papers. And it is, as of right now, it was still in stock. The last I looked. So check it out. The truck bundle has been very popular, in and out of stock a little bit, but do know that it is coming back. So the truck right now is currently sold out, but it's due to come back, I believe, in October. Is that right? September, October?
Yeah, in
Yeah.
October, I believe, but sometimes it comes in early, but they kind of give you an out just, you know, to make sure they cover themselves. But if you're not familiar, these are items that are in addition to our annual catalog that you can only see if you go on the web, on our website, either Betsy's or mine. If you go on the website, you can see the online exclusives, because I've had people ask me, and you probably have too, Betsy, like, how do I see the online exclusives? You must go on to our into our store to see the online exclusives, or that's
Yes,
the only way to see them. They're just not in a catalog, and they're not on a flyer. So
definitely check them out.
yeah.
They're amazing. Yeah.
And then I
And
want, go ahead. Do you have something else to say about
no,
that?
I'm all good. Yeah, yeah, definitely check those out. Yeah, absolutely. What do you got? What have you got going on?
So
What do you got on your?
so today we got to see a little sneaky peeky, didn't we?
Me too. I
So
love being a demonstrator.
I know being a demonstrator is so great. And one of the things we love is that we get to see sneak peeks, and we get to order sneak peeks before they come to our customers. So today the mini, or what we still refer to it like the holiday mini catalog, but it's the
Yeah.
September through December mini catalog, or the holiday catalog, because we have all our holidays in there.
Yeah.
Um, we got a sneak peek, and then we as demonstrators can order from it on August 2nd. It is available for customers to order on September the 6th. But we're just going to say that if you sign up and join one of our communities, whether it's Betsy's Be Creative community or the Create With Me community, depending on where you're located, then you too will get to see the new catalog. You can even put some of those items, you can check with us, and you can put those items in your starter kit.
Yes.
You can get $125 worth of product for $99. The shipping is free, so that's an additional 11%.
Mhm.
And then you can get well, you'd have to wait until August 2nd to do that. But if you signed up before August 2nd, then you just use annual catalog or online exclusives. But if you wait until August 2nd, you can put some of those in your starter kit, and then you can order whatever you want at a discount. So I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah, being a demonstrator, getting those sneak peeks is like, I mean, this catalog is amazing. Definitely going to want to add some of these items to your starter kit, and why not get those perks and a discount on your shopping? So you can't beat that, right?
Yeah, and I know people worry about, oh, I don't want to do videos. I don't want to do what you do. You don't have to do
Mm-mm.
that. A lot of people just join for the discount for their own crafting supplies. They might have a friend that they, say, hey, I'm putting an order in, do you want anything?
Yeah. There are days when I don't want to do videos either. Just saying. I love stamping with my bestie, but it's just like, I wish we were closer together. So this is our way of being together on a regular basis. So it works.
Great. Well, let's get started, okay? Inked and Tiled stamp set. It has some wonderful greetings. We always try to find something with some nice greetings. So we've got everything from happy birthday, thank you, lots of love, hello friend, congratulations, just a note. I mean, you kind of cover everything, right? But what we love is punches. We love our punches. So these are two really fun punches, and we're going to give you some ideas on how to use these in fun ways in these cards. So I'm super excited. And then this paper is really beautiful. I have it kind of, I'm going to say upside down, but I'm just going to quickly show you both sides.
So do you want to tell them how they designed that paper?
You know
and
what?
how they designed the stamp set? Do you
No,
remember hearing
no,
about that?
no, go ahead, because I'm not sure I knew this. I'm going to learn something new.
So the artist who designed the stamp set actually took flowers and leaves and plants, inked them, actually put ink on them, and then pressed them onto paper to see what they would look like on paper. So they actually worked with actual flowers and leaves to get that artistic look of what would a flower look like if you inked it and you pressed it onto the paper. Isn't that amazing?
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I love
Yeah.
that. So I'm going to start with card number 1, and this is kind of thinking a little bit outside the box as far as I'm going to just bring my paper back in here. As far as the colors in the paper, I mean, you've got that really pretty crushed curry, but some of the colors are a little bit more fall. So I wanted to add a little bit of sparkle to this card. So let me show you what you get in your packet and the extra pieces that you're going to need. So you've got a very vanilla envelope, a piece of the copper clay that is 8.5 by 5.5, 2 pieces of crushed curry, 3 pieces of very vanilla, and some is for your stamping and some is for your, you see, like this is for your piece here, and then one's for your inside. And then one is this piece here, you're going to stamp your leaves and cut them out. So you also get a piece of the gold, the Dazzling and More paper, a strip of it. And then these are the pieces that you're going to cut of your own, from your own paper. So you've got a bolt of ribbon. You're going to cut a piece that's about 4 or 5 inches long, a little strip of the designer series paper, and then this is your piece for punching. So let me set these things aside. We're going to start. I think the easiest way to start is by doing some stamping. So let me grab my inks. The ink colors that we're going to need for this is copper clay, crushed curry, and Lost Lagoon. Those are the colors that I'm using in this card.
They're
So
so pretty together. They're so pretty. That's
really,
just yummy.
I know, and it's really a little bit different with the Lost Lagoon. I think that adds just a different element. Do you know
I
what I'm
think I
saying?
use Lost Lagoon on both of my cards because it's Lost Lagoon is a returning color from a long time ago, and I've held paper for years because it's been one of my favorite colors, and I'm so excited they brought it back.
Yeah, it's really, really pretty. So while you're stamping, I would go ahead and stamp both of your leaves, and then you're going to cut it out. And I should have done this for you in advance, but I'm going to do it now because I didn't do it in advance, and I want to show you how quick it is. You don't have to be really too fussy. We call this fussy cutting, but you don't have to be too fussy because you're mounting this on very vanilla. So even if you leave a little bit of border like I am, it's going to kind of disappear because it's going to be on your very vanilla. So I'm just quickly cutting it out. You know, you're going to take your time.
I'm a fussy cutter girl. I love to fussy cut. I find it relaxing. I know I'm very much in the minority, but I find it relaxing to fussy cut.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of people that feel that way. There's a lot of people that don't love it. So
yeah,
it's super simple, just simple. Okay, so then you're going to want to take your chamois and clean that because we're going to ink it up in copper clay here in a minute.
yeah.
You're going to take your copper clay and you're going to fold it in half and give it a good crease with your bone folder and set that aside. And then you're going to bring in your piece for stamping, and you're going to stamp your leaf in, I'm just putting my card out here so I'm doing it right. You're going to stamp your leaf in copper clay right on your cardstock, just like that. So then you're going to take your little piece that you cut out with your scissors and you're going to apply some adhesive. I like the liquid glue because then I can move it around a little bit. And I'm going to let it hang off the side just like that because I know that I'm going to bring in my piece of gold dazzling paper.
That stuff is pretty. There's 2 different colors in that pack, right?
Yeah, there's gold and then there's a little silver. And you can decide how far. We gave you a 1/2 inch piece. You can decide if you want a 1/4 inch hanging out or if you want less. If you just want a tiny little edge, you can go like that. I like the more the glitter, the better. Now this paper is glittery, literally glittery. So it's going to take a little bit of time to dry. So while we're doing that, I want to talk about embossing. So here's the card. I used the Weave 3D folder on mine. This time I decided, because it's Stamp It Your Way, that I'm going to use the, can you see that? That's the timber folder. I don't know
Yeah,
if you
pretty. Yeah, I can see it.
I just thought, oh, fall, that would be pretty too. So this time I used the timber folder, and let's go ahead and whatever you decide for your own, go ahead and adhere that to your card base, making sure your opening is in the because you know I've done that before.
Yeah, yeah, me too. Me too.
So I'm going to add a little drop of glue under here because this is got a little wrinkle in it that will help it hold it down. Same here.
Yep. Yeah, sometimes depending on the folder, you just need a little bit of extra adhesive just in case.
Yeah, it just needs a little bit. So this one is this is a pretty quick card. So this one's easy. We're just going to add some dimensionals. Let me grab mine right here. This is like a little extra insurance, just putting that dimensional over your dazzling paper. That just helps it just know it's going to stay down, because you know that dazzling paper have some texture to it.
It's a great idea.
All right, then this card's the way I designed it, it's on a little bit of an angle. Some people don't like angles. So go ahead and put yours straight on. That's fine, perfectly fine. And then you're going to take your we're going to have our strip, we're going to have our ribbon, and then we've got our piece of designer series paper of your choice. I'm going to take the punch, and I need 2 of those because I've got 2 cards. So you could kind of see here on the lines how you want it. I don't think it much matters on that. I'm going to do that one there and that one there. So now I've got them for both cards, and I'm going to do a little stamping with my Lost Lagoon. And this card, I wanted to say hello friend. So let me bring in the hello friend stamp. It's nice. This paper is kind of a grid, Betsy, because then you have, you know how to, you know, where to put your words. Because
Line it up perfectly, right?
it lines up, it's exactly right. It lines up perfect.
I'm pretty sure I can still mess that up.
No, no. I like to just do a little snip on my ends. I'm going to see where I'm at with that. As far as I didn't know if I was going to hang over or not. I think that's perfect. I'm going to just layer my pieces on down. This one I think is a smidge long, so I'm going to trim it. I'd rather have it too long than too short, because there's nothing I can do if I get it too short. So I've got that just there, and then this one's going to go over it. So I'm ready to adhere that. I'll just put a little bit of liquid glue here to hold that down. Okay. Then on this one, I sometimes like to use a tear and tape. How about you? I think especially because
I
you know-
never thought of using the tear and tape on ribbon, to tell you the
well,
truth.
I like the tear and tape because one, it makes it a little oh, especially this one matches the size perfectly. It makes it a little, how do I say, stouter. It gives it some bone.
Body,
It
little
gives it-
body.
yeah, a
Yeah.
little bit of body. And this ribbon, if you noticed, was wanting to curl, and now it's
Yeah.
perfect straight, and it holds my little ends, right? So now I like
Keeps it
to
from fraying. Yeah.
keep it from fraying. So I'm going to burnish it down. I'm going to see if I can pick it with my scissors. It's a ribbon, so this one's not always as easy to
Get the backing off.
but
Look at you.
so
Smart.
not bad. Once in a
Very
while.
smart.
Okay, and then I'm going to put my little punched thing, whether you do it on an angle like that or you do it straight. I did this one straight, but I think I might like this one on an angle.
I do. Mhm.
2 different ways. And then I'm gonna bring in my embellishments. We had, what are these called, Betsy? Do you remember?
I do. I've actually pulled them out and they're right in front of me. Adhesive backed sparkle gems.
Oh, I love these.
I know, right? The gold, the silver, the black. Oh my gosh, it was so pretty.
They're so pretty. So we use these on all the cards, I think.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Just 3, and that card's done other than the inside, and that you've got the extra piece of crushed curry, and then you've got your very vanilla, and you can stamp on there. Me personally, I was telling people in class this week, me personally, like to not stamp anything. If I'm using a greeting like hello friend, I feel like that's because I want to send them a card that I'm going to send some type of a message in it. So that's why I don't put any greeting inside, but I do want to put a little, looking for my ink pad here, since I've got this one here. I do want to put a little bit of an embellishment, and I'm going to stamp off with my copper clay, and then I'm just going to stamp a little image there, and then I can write my note just like that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to put, some kind of a greeting inside. When I'm saying hello friend, it's because I want to send you a card for something specific. I'm sending you a message of thanks, or gosh, I haven't seen you in a while. Let's go do something. So that's
You
why.
can make it individual. You can make it for the individual you're sending it to, and then personalize it in the inside.
That's exactly right. And then finish off your inside just like that.
So pretty.
Layer,
So pretty.
you've given you layer so that you can do, your card is pretty on the outside and pretty on the inside. And then of course, stamp your envelope. I'll just I'll see if I've got enough ink on it to stamp my envelope with a third. Yeah, it's good. With a third.
Perfect.
Yeah. So there's card number 1. Okay, so let me clear my pieces out of the way.
Love that.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad. And let me clean up this stamp, because I know if I don't, that I will get ink all over me. Not that it matters. I could just look at a ink pad and have ink on me. So,
So I tell my folks that it's a sign when you get ink on you, it's the sign that you are an excellent stamper if you've got ink on your fingers.
it's something.
So I'm sticking to. I do say that about painting too. Anytime we do any kind of house painting or wall paint, anything like that, guaranteed I've got paint everywhere. And I say that's because I'm an excellent painter.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so we're going to need the leaves again for this card. I love this card. So this one's Pebble Path, and basically petal pink and a little calypso coral. And I'm going to show you how to do this two-tone look on your flowers. And I'm going to show you how to make this really fun lacy ruffle using the stamps in here. And then we're going to finish it off just like that. Okay, so in your packet, what you've got, and this is a different fold. This is what we call the hot dog. And so we've got a piece that's 11 by 4 1/4. And we're going to fold that in half. And I'm going to show you the other pieces here in a second. Give that a good crease and set that aside. You've got a piece for the front of your card. You've got some designer series paper that you're going to cut. We've got the specifications in your kit, and then for your inside, and then a layer for the inside of your card, just like that. So we'll set those aside for now, and we'll work on the piece that we are going to put on the card. Now, this is important because this piece of paper is cut just 1/4 of an inch different. So it's 4 by 4 1/4. 4 1/4 going this way, and then 4 this way. You want to make sure that you first place it on your card so that you know the direction, because if it almost looks like a square, and if you start stamping and then you go to put it on, you're going to be disappointed because you're going to have this little edge. It's not the end of the world, but you might be a little disappointed. So fit it on your card front first and make sure it's in the direction that you want it to be. And then we're going to go ahead and do some stamping. So I'm going to bring in my grid paper so that I have it just stamp on, because I'm going to be doing a little stamping off, making sure that my paper is in the correct direction. We're going to start with the flowers just like this. And what we're going to do is we're going to ink up. Let me bring in you're going to use petal. These are the colors that we need: gray granite, pebble path, and petal pink. So, excuse me, I'm going to start with my petal pink. And I'm going to ink up my flowers, just the heads of my flowers. And the nice thing I always say about the Stampin' Up! Pads is they're raised so that I can get just the flower heads. And then I'm going to take a Calypso Coral marker, and I'm doing a little bit of tapping or pouncing or just adding color by having my marker flat and just adding color right here at the base. I just tap it on just like that.
Is there a reason why you start with a lighter color first?
I like to start with the lighter color first because, well, first of all, I don't, this is my darker, so it's going to be my marker, and I want to add that on top of my light, right? But I also don't want dark into my light pad.
Right,
So I start
right,
with
with the
my
ink
light.
pad.
Yeah, I start with my light. Now, you might say, oh, can I use my blends? No, you can't use your blends when you're working on the stamp because this is an alcohol base. So if you put this marker onto your stamp, it won't stamp. It will just stick to the
You just pretty much colored your stamp.
just colored your stamp. So you're going to need to use one that's water-based, and that's our Stampin' Right markers. So now I'm using the Pebbled Path marker. I'm being extra generous because I'm kind of talking at the same time, but in reality, you don't have to go over it that many times. I'm going to ink, then I'm going to go back down. I've taken most of that ink off, so I feel comfortable not having to clean it off. I feel comfortable that I'm not going to be adding a bunch of Calypso Coral, but you can see the two-tone there. Can you see it on the video?
It's beautiful. It's absolutely
really,
beautiful. I
it's
love it.
really, really pretty. So all you really have to do is swipe on, use the side of your marker and go ahead and stamp again. And I'm moving my flowers around high, low. And then the last time, get that little bit of ink.
I need to do this technique more often. I just forget to pull my markers out and that's the great thing about them is you can make these stamps be any colors you want them to be just by using the Stampin' Right markers and adding color and shading where you want it.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, I need to break out this technique more often. I just don't do it enough.
Yeah, because in reality, if you were really super artistic, unlike me, you could go in with even darker marker, or a light green and then add a darker green and get, a different effect. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp. Oh, I think I'm going to bring my flowers in like that. Okay, so there's my flower. So I'm done with that stamp. And now I'm going to close up my petal pink, and I'm going to bring in my gray granite. And I'm going to bring in this leaf here again. And I want to stamp that off first. And then I'm going to stamp leaves kind of at the base of my flowers as a little light background. Okay, so there I've got my leaves, I've got my flowers. And while I've got my ink pads right here, I'm going to bring in the Pebble Path. And I'm going to finish it with the greeting, happy birthday. You could use whatever greeting in the set that you would like. I have to add a little splatter to that, but I'm going to hold off on that. I'm going to show you how, because I want to bring in my card base and show you how I did this really fun scalloped ruffle. And so I'm going to bring in my card here. Actually, I'm going to add my designer series paper to it. And I want to bring in a pencil. And the reason I'm going to do a pencil is you'll never see this. I'm going to draw a little light line here and a light line below. Okay, did you see where I did that? So I can barely see it here because it is Pebble Path. And I'm going to bring in this stamp right here. And that's going to be my scallop. So then that shows me where my paper is. And I'm going to stamp that scallop or flowers. Now we see their flowers in a row. You're never going to see this part. You're just going to see that nice ruffly flower part. You can turn this upside down if that helps.
Smart. Oh, that's a great idea. Just to add a little bit of detail, and you would need. I didn't realize that was a flower underneath that.
That looks like a ruffly lace, doesn't it? I love it.
Yes, it does.
It looks very weird here, but when I add that, see what that does? It just makes a little ruffly lace. So, yeah, just a fun element. Think outside the box on that. All right,
Right.
so now we're going to go ahead and set that aside, and we're going to do our splattering, and I'm going to show you what I did with that. So I brought in the dark pebble path and the dark calypso coral. There's a lot of ways you can do splattering. Since I'm doing this on my own, I know I have good control. I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to take my lid and I'm going to use the brush tip. And I'm going to just take my lid and I'm just going to flick my marker against the inside of my lid. And it's going to add a little bit of speckling. I just want a little. I'll show it up to the light here in a second. I'm going to do the same thing with the calypso coral. And I'm going to try to hit some of those spots that maybe I missed down here. Oh,
I love splatter. I will drive people crazy with adding splatter. That just makes me happy. I love it.
yeah, it does me too. I really like it too. So I
It
don't know
just
if you
adds
can
a little
see
bit
that.
more depth, right? Like makes the image look like it's, yeah, it just gives it more depth into the image, more texture, or what am I thinking of? Yeah, I guess texture.
It's that little attention to detail. I'm
Yeah.
a big proponent of that attention to detail. You know, sometimes we want super simple, but sometimes we just want a little bit of detail. So now you can go ahead and put your cardstock, your little image, onto your designer series paper. And I'm going to show you how I did this right here. And I'm just going to bring in this piece of paper right here. And what I did was I used the same punch I used before. Okay, I just need one, I believe. And I'm going to use my scissors. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from this point to this point. It would probably be better if I use my cutter, but I'm not going to bring in my cutter. So you're going to see if I go from this point to this point, what I've done is I've created the little flag image. Okay, can you see it here over the white?
You
If I
got the
hold
little
it.
banner, like a banner.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I'm going to cut mine in half because I need 3 of those. So now I'm going to, I guess I do need another punch. I guess I need 2 punches. And so I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm creating a little banner.
These
Just
punches are very different, and finding different ways of using them is such a great way of showing how versatile they are.
now I like to go ahead and line up my little banners like just exactly how I want it to be. Just like this. I'm going to have a little, I'm going to leave a little space there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead. I want that a little shorter. I'm going to tighten that up just a little bit. And I'm going to take my adhesive and I'm going to make sure I'm on the right side. And all I'm doing is running a little light bit of adhesive, just enough to pick up those banners where I want them. See if I got enough. I didn't get any glue over there.
It's a great idea though, to line it up on the table and then just kind, because then you can see exactly where you want it to go, right?
So there it is, just like that. So if I was using dimensionals, I would put those dimensionals right on here, but I'm going to go ahead and put glue around the edges and then a little bit in the middle. And then I'm ready to go ahead and adhere that to my card base, just like that. Just like so. Okay, so then I'm leaving that little ruffle top and bottom, and then we have to add our embellishments. So I'm going to bring in my take your pick tool, and I like to do it right around my greeting, just like that. So pretty. That splatter went right on that happy birthday. You never really have total control over that, but I love that it kind of did that. It's really, really pretty. So then I'm going to finish the inside of my card in my envelope. Let me bring in my scrap paper again, and I'm going to do that exact same thing. Let's see I think I need a little bit more ink on that.
Those grays with those pinks. Oh my gosh, so
So
pretty.
pretty, right? You know, sometimes we don't have to totally think outside the box. What if we just do the same thing? I like that leaf so much. You could go ahead and color your flowers and put those inside, or I could add them on there. I'm not going to do that today, but that's definitely a possibility. And then this card is finished. We're finished with it. We just put that on the inside, just like so, layer, and then we'll layer the inside into our card. And we are done. I love this card. I hope
It's so
everybody,
pretty.
and again, grab a stamp out if you want a special birthday greeting, go ahead and grab a little stamp out of your stash. We know we all have it, and you can add something, or I would just put my message in there just like that. So there's the second card, Betsy.
Beautiful. I love the fact that the first one's kind of like those masculine kind of colors, and this one's so delicate and feminine looking. I love that. The
I think
difference between the two.
Yeah, I think that's what my favorite thing is, that if you look at these two cards and then the cards that you did, we really didn't completely focus on the colors of in the paper. We really looked a little bit outside, you know, just picking up maybe one color, or here two colors, and then this color here in the ribbon. But we didn't just focus on only using the colors in the paper. And I think that's really important if you're going to stamp it your way.
Okay, so let's get started on the two cards that I did. So if you are looking at your paperwork, which I believe whenever I sent out did the written tutorial, I don't think I changed out my picture on the written tutorial. So the original tutorial, I used these little gold sequins on there, but because we were handing out or giving in our packets the adhesive back sparkle gems, I changed it up, and I actually like it so much better, because what I did was I added some sparkle gems to it instead. So this is the card we're going to make. And in your packet, you've got this Blackberry Bliss, which is just such a beautiful shade of purple. The Lost Lagoon, and then a piece of your designer series paper. We've got some Very Vanilla for in the inside. And then there's a little piece of Very Vanilla that we're going to use for doing this greeting. And I wanted to show you how to use that punch again, like in a different way. Okay, so this is super easy. This card I think is, I just really enjoy it because it is such an easy card to make. So we're gonna bring in, so we're using this floral image, the one that Mary Ellen just used, and I'm using crushed curry. So I'm gonna ink up the stamp here.
You know, honestly, Betsy, after last month's cards, I think it's great that these cards are a little easier because maybe people don't think too much of us.
Those were a little intense, weren't they? Yeah, it's like,
But they were so cool. But I think
they're so cool.
I love that they can do something quick and easy. That's so
I
pretty.
do. I think so too. And it's easy to replicate in any designer series paper, any floral pattern that you have, you could easily make this card. I'm just using crushed curry on that, full strength, just crushed curry, stamping that image. And then I'm going to bring in my Lost Lagoon, and I'm going to bring in that leaf pattern, that leaf stamp. And I agree, this is one of my favorite stamps. I'm going to ink this one up, but this one I'm going to stamp off. And then I'm going to stamp that image. And I'm kind of just trying to stay there. Actually, I kind of did mine a little sideways here, like that. So you get that lighter tone. So there's my images for that. While I'm going to go ahead and do my inside of my envelope because I am crazy and I like my things to match. So I'm going to stamp my leaves again, my flowers again, and I'm going to do my inside. And then I'm going to go ahead and do my envelope just like that. Slide that out of the way, bring in that Lost Lagoon again. Stamp off and then stamp. Stamp off and then stamp. So those pieces are done for the envelope and the inside. Isn't that pretty? Oh my gosh, so pretty. Now, let me close these up because like Mary Ellen, guaranteed my hand will go in that ink pad in a second. It's like it's drawn to it or something. And I'm bringing in Blackberry Bliss. Black.
Oh,
I'm bringing that one in.
Blackberry Bliss and me do not have a great relationship. I could just look at that ink pad from across the room and ink jumps on it. When it first came out originally, before it had come in, it was a in color, I believe. I could not stamp with it. I just got my hands in it all the time. Now it loves me a little bit better, but holy schmoly.
That's Night of Navy for me. Night of Navy does that. It's like I just look at it and it's like I've got ink on me. I am using the Hello Friend, and I'm using it on this little piece of scrap that you have of Very Vanilla. Nice and easy, nothing too crazy, just the Hello Friend. And you could use any of the greetings on this card, by the way. All right, so I'm going to bring in my card base. Our phone folder, I've got my Lost Lagoon. All right, so this piece, what I want to do is I want to bring in the punch. All right, and it's always easy when you punch upside down because you can kind of see where you're going. And what you were talking about earlier about the grid lines being on here, that I like this one because of the grid lines. I can kind of see where it's going and where I want to punch. I don't want to be right at the edge, but I don't want to be off the grid either. So I'm just coming in a little bit and I'm gonna punch out that piece. And this is actually trash. I don't really need that because this is what I want to have that opening. Now here is where I'm going to get a little on the crazy side. So what I want to do is I want to use lots of little dimensionals, and I'm going to bring in a new sheet of dimensionals here. So I'm going to add dimensionals right up next to that window that I've created.
I wondered how you're going to do that. That's a great idea.
Lots of little dimensionals on there. So I'm going to come up here, lots of dimensionals. I know I am a dimensional fiend. I do love a lot of dimension. And somebody did this the other day. Was it you or somebody taught me this? They put a dimensional on it. And if it, like for this, for example, if they put a dimensional on it like this, and they put it and it wobbled, then they knew they needed another dimensional.
Oh, yeah. No, it wasn't me, but I agree with you. When you're using designer series paper, especially,
yeah,
it's thinner. So I like more dimensionals.
Yep. So just like what she did whenever she was kind of putting it down on top with the glue and those little tags, we kind of worked together and didn't even plan it that way. But it's the same concept here, is I'm going to look through my window and see where is that going to line up. Is it going to go where I want it to go? And then I'm just going to push those dimensionals right onto it to kind of hold it in place. See that?
Yes.
Now, if I get a little excess, which I do, not a big deal. All I'm going to do is bring my snips in here, and I'm just going to trim off that extra. Ta-da! So there is my greeting. It's popped up, and I might, just because of this area, add a little bit of glue right there because I don't want to add more dimensionals or it would be off center. And I'm going to, actually, I'm going to put that aside and I'm going to put this one on first. Now, what Mary Ellen said earlier was that some people do not like their cards crooked. I have a friend who it'll drive her absolutely bonkers to see it kind of going in an angle. She would go straight with this. So in her honor, I'm going to go ahead and go straight with this one, just so you can kind of see the difference.
I like that because I'm kind of a straight girl too, even though I put my one on an angle. I kind of like it straight too. It does.
Yeah, it's kind of like you either like it or you don't. And there's no right way or wrong way to do it. And if you don't like it that way, then just go traditional, go straight. And I'm going to add.
They both are really pretty.
Right? I think it looks great either way. All right, now what I wanted to do was we were using these sparkle gems and they are super cute, but I didn't use, and I had gold and gold would work on here, but I wanted to have it a little bit of color. So what I did was I took my sheet of gems and I used the Blackberry Bliss dark blend. Because this is an alcohol marker, I can color directly right onto those gems. You see the color there? Yep. So what I did now,
any color we want then.
Any color. So I colored the silver ones because I could make them any color I wanted them to be. Now, if you do this technique and you color, I usually use, you could use either end, but I will warn you that as you use it, it will start to fray your tip because these are a little rough and they have a little bit of texture to them. So the more you do this, it'll start to fray that tip. So what I do is I save my older markers where the tips are kind of yucky or the ink's kind of running out a little bit. And I set those aside and that's what I use to color in my gems with. So I always save my yucky markers as they get used more and more.
Yeah, that's a really good tip.
Yeah, save those older ones. All right, so I pre-colored these for us and I'm gonna add that blackberry bliss.
So,
My
so
goodness, I cannot say that word
I
today.
know. Well, so many people talk about like, oh, my blends, I don't know, they didn't last or whatever. You have to remember that blends are made to be that's a consumable item. So sometimes we do have to replace them. They do get used if especially if you're like me, I color a lot. I use them in my classes. I replace them a lot. So I do have the old ones to save. So you might not have everything, but maybe you'll have a color that's close to that you could use that would
Mhm.
work on that card. I think there's a lot
Yeah,
of options. And sometimes the lighter colors, like the yellows and the pool parties that we use a lot, sometimes those go out for,
yes.
I think either the Lost Lagoon, the Blackberry Bliss, or the Crushed Curry would be pretty on that.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I do that. I wrap, sometimes I'll take a old piece of, like I'll take a piece of washi tape and I'll wrap it around my blend case. And then I know which ones are for gems and which ones are more for coloring.
It's a really good idea.
Just so I can kind of
Got a
pinpoint
lot
which one.
of lot of blends to wrap washi tape around now.
Exactly. All right, so there is card number one. Super easy, but a fun little, the reason you have those dimensionals is so that you get that depth in there and you kind of have that shadow box look with that punch. Very easy, right? Okay, so there is,
Yes, that love it.
love it, right? Card number one. All right, so card number two. Card number two is a little bit of a fancy fold. And I kind of liked it because I got this idea from another demonstrator. I think it was a swap that I had received. And I saw this and both of us really liked it. And we said, oh, we should make this one of our cards this month. So what happens is you have this little belly band. Mine's a little on the loose side. Yours will be a little tighter than mine. But I have a belly band here. And what happens is that belly band slides off. Okay. And the card then opens like this.
That's
Isn't that
cool.
pretty? I just
Yeah.
love that. So that even it stands, so some people like to be able to display their cards and have them stand up, and it does. Isn't that pretty? So that is what we are making with this one. So in your packet, this is a 5.5 by 11 piece of cardstock. So you are really only getting one base out of one piece of paper. So what you have is you have your 5.5 by 11 piece. And what we're going to do with that piece is we are going to do some scoring. And I can do it for you. I could show you, but I think everybody kind of knows how to score unless you'd want me to show it. Do you think I need to show it?
I think if you give people the scoring measurements that don't have the thing, maybe, then
Yeah,
everyone.
I think you're fine. Yeah, we can do that. Okay. So what we're going to do is that 5.5 by 11. What you're going to do is you're going to score it at 1.25. You're going to score it at 4 and then score again at 6.75. So 1.25, 4 and 6.75. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to fold to create your card base. So there's your card base. You have a bunch of designer series paper that you're going to be cutting for this. We've got a couple different, and I liked mine in like that monotone look where it's like all the colors are kind of blending together. You could mix it up and make it different. Like this color, look at this color on there. Isn't that pretty?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So you could easily change out these colors depending on the designer series paper. If you didn't want that monotone, you wanted a little brighter, you could definitely go that route. There's some other little pieces that you have of Lost Lagoon, some of this bordered ribbon. So Mary Ellen showed you this earlier, this bordered ribbon. It is so pretty in that Lost Lagoon. It's a nice cottony ribbon. And then we've got a couple strips of white, basic white that we're going to be using. One of them, the big one here, is going to be, I think this is a 1/2 inch. Yeah, it's 3/4 of an inch by 11, 3/4 of an inch by 11. And this is going to be the band, the belly band that we're going to use around it. Okay, so let's start to get some of these pieces adhered and then we can start stamping. So this piece here is going to go in the inside right there. So I'm just going to do some liquid glue on this one. And then this piece actually goes on this side. See that? So it's not going here, it's going here. So I'm going to put this one on this side, so I can see all of the designer series paper as I'm working through it. So that goes there. And then this one isn't going to go here. It's actually going to fold down and go on top like that. So you can see all three. So we're going to put on, this one goes on the front. If you find it easier, you can always open it up and bring it down like this if you find that a little easier to line it up. But then there are my 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3. Now this piece in here is the piece that we're going to be doing our stamping. So I want to bring in this basic white piece that's going to go right here. And I'm using this floral image because it's just like the designer series paper that I'm using here. And I'm going to use Lost Lagoon again. And we seem to have a theme here. We've been doing a lot of stamping off this month. I'm going to stamp full strength. And then while I'm going to go ahead and stamp again. And then I can stamp again. So it's like you're kind of getting like a 3-tone effect. I actually don't like that. So nice thing about double-sided paper is you can do it again. So I'm going to ink that first. I'm going to ink again, stamp off, do like a 2-tone there. I'm going to ink again, stamp off twice, and then do that again. There you go. I like that better. That looks better, right?
Looks good.
So I get this 2-tone look. Now, I really like the word lots of love, right? So on the front, we're going to do on this little belly band, we're going to put lots of love. So I thought, well, then I should have lots of love in the inside, right? Makes sense. So what I want to do here is we've been using, we use the Stampin' Right markers. She used them to show you how to get some extra color on those flowers between the 2 shades. I'm going to show you how to just color part of the word. So I'm going to use the brush end of my Stampin' Right marker. And like she said, you want to use the side of the marker, not the tip. So on the side, all I'm doing is coloring in the word love. I'm not adding any. The nice thing about this is that I can avoid all those other words and just color love. And I'm going to start here. And there I get love. And I'm going to do it again. And I'm just kind of moving it around. I'm getting however many I want on there. Isn't that cute?
Yes, that's that attention to detail, Betsy, that we're talking about. Just a little
Right.
attention to detail, and that's by adding those words love there. You could have left it the way it was, but I mean, seriously, lots of love. That's so cute.
Isn't that cute?
Love.
Lots of love. And then you got love all over, right? I thought that was fun. So just something different in the inside. And we're gonna add this. Oh, my glue's running out. My glue is running out. Okay. Put that there. Yeah, just lots of little loves coming to you. Perfect. Now we have the piece for the belly band. So this is going to be for our front, and kind of similar to what we just did. I'm going to do that three step three-step stamping again. So I'm going to stamp once, and then I'm going to go ahead and stamp again, and then I'm going to stamp again. Okay. And do you know why earlier when I did that, I didn't like it? If I bring in a piece of scrap paper, maybe I can show you why I didn't like it. If I stamp off, right? So if I stamp this here, right? And then I go and stamp again. Do you see how I got that mark? Do you see it?
Mhm.
How it's darker on that one little corner? Because it cut off here. It didn't
Yeah.
fully ink off. So when I inked again, it had that little extra bit of ink on my stamp. So when you're like generation stamping, think about that. Like this one, I could just do it all 3 on 1 because nothing came off the side. Whereas this one, it kind of came off the side and I picked up more ink. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's exactly right.
Yep. Yep. So all I want to do here is this one's going to go on this piece.
That's a really good tip. It avoids frustration.
Yeah. So if it's just straight on the cardstock, you're good to go. But if it goes off to the side, re-ink and stamp off on scratch paper each time. That way you don't have that blob of ink that just is kind of sitting there. All right. Now we're going to use our punch. And this time I'm bringing this punch in. Okay. And I wanted to have like just a different kind of way of using it. So I'm bringing this, what size was this? This was a 1/2-inch strip of Lost Lagoon. And all I'm doing is feeding that into the punch so that I can get just one flag of it. And I'm going to punch. Okay. Now it's a little bigger than what I need, but that's okay. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to just trim that off with my scissors straight across. I could have made this just a little bit smaller, but 1/2 inch was easier. And then you just trim it. So there I've got the flag, just like what Mary Ellen was showing you. I've got a flag that looks like that. Now this piece, which is this basic white piece, I believe is a 3/8 inch piece. Mary Ellen's probably shaking her head at me right now because 3/8 inch, usually I'm not a very good 1/8 inch person, but I'm getting better. I'm getting better. I'm bringing in Pretty Peacock and I'm doing the Lots of Love. And I'm going to stamp that right there. All right. And then the same thing that I just did, I'm going to feed this through my punch. And I'm going to try to center it in between those points. I can line it up, see where I want it to go, and then punch. And there's my banner that's now going to fit on line up on that other one. Isn't that cute? Just another way of using it, right?
Great way to use that punch for your greeting. I love it.
Yep, just another way of doing it. And I'm going to, I keep going off camera because my glue is, I'm having to shake my glue bottle down. I think I need to change glues. I'm lining that up there, just so it has that little bit of border behind it. Cute, right?
Wow.
All right. Now I want to go ahead and get our belly band going here. So I'm going to close that. And I'm going to bring this over and I'm going to bring that belly band in. Now, my belly band, what I want to do is I just there might be a better way of doing this, but for me, this just seems to be the easiest way of doing this. I put it down like this, and then I just bring the folds over. You could measure it out and score it, but I try to just look at it and make sure that I'm somewhat even on either side. Okay. And I hold this down and I bring this side up. And I kind of hold that there. You don't want it super tight because then you can't get the band off. And then I'm going to bring this side over. And I just want to line those up just like that. And there's my belly band. Now what I can do is I can use some adhesive on this just to kind of hold that in place. Ooh, that was a lot of adhesive. That's a lot of glue. Don't squeeze that push that too much or I'm going to get glue everywhere. We're going to just hold that a second. That was a lot of glue. I couldn't get it out earlier, so I kept shaking it down. Now I've got a lot of it.
Less is more, Betsy, less is more.
I know, right? I'm a big advocate for that, but that was a lot of glue on that one. All right. I'm going to hold that there for a second. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to bring this in, and I also have that ribbon. So let me grab my ribbon over here. So I have a piece of ribbon. It's a little bit longer than probably what you need. And we're going to adhere that ribbon right like that. Give me a second here. Let me make sure that's sticking down. There we go. I'm going to set that aside. All right, now I am using Stamp and Seal. I loved Mary Ellen's idea with the tear and tape. I'm going to use some Stamp and Seal on this. Nice thing is that I can kind of fold it down or tear it off where I don't want it. Maybe. Ooh. That is fighting me. I like her idea better. Maybe I need to break hers out. Glue doesn't necessarily work with it because the glue can seep through your ribbon. So you definitely want to have some sort of a tape when putting that on. So I'm going to put that here. Right. And then I'm going to trim it up. There we go. Let me trim up this side. There we go. And then I'm using some dimensionals on this. This is where I like to use all the little pieces of my dimensionals here. And that's going to go, whoop, that's going to go right there. Cute, right?
That's so cute.
And then, oops, got that tape sticking to me. And then now this, I was worried about this where my belly band is, but I don't have to worry about that because this is going to be attached right to it. But you want to be careful because you don't want to have too much glue going out. So what I want to do is hold it, like put it backwards against it. So kind of get an idea where it's going to go, kind of center it there. Then I know exactly where my glue is going to be. Okay.
That's a great idea. And I know the belly band thing, it goes contrary to what you might normally think. You might think, oh, well, I want that on the back. But by putting it on the front where they close and covering it up, it just is a cleaner look.
It is. Yep. Because then it's nice and smooth in the back. Because you're covering it with this front piece. And then I just kind of put that there. There we go. So now our belly band easily slides. Okay. And I'm going to come in with some of the silver gems here. Silver sparkle, and add a couple. Just everything's better with a little bit of bling, right?
Right. You could even color those with Lost Lagoon. So, you know,
Mhm.
the silver is pretty, but I mean, if you were going to go completely monotone, then
You
that's
could.
another. Yeah. Oh, I
That's a
love that.
great way.
I
Isn't
love
that
that.
pretty?
Yeah, I'm going to be
That's
doing
just
that.
nice.
I
Now,
like
when you
it.
go to put it in the belly band, if you feel like you got it maybe a little bit too tight, try to curl your cardstock a little bit. So what I do is I just put one end in and then I give it a little curl. Okay. And then that'll slide back in for you. So just curl it a little bit. You don't want to truly like bend it, but just curl it a little bit and then it should go back into your belly band pretty easily. How about that?
It's great.
That is card number 2. We hope that you've really liked the inked and tiled, the botanical. Everything in this suite is so pretty. And I hope we showed you some different color ideas that you didn't have to go with just like those colors that were in the designer series paper, and you got some different ideas from it on how to work that, right?
I love it.
Excellent. Okay. Reach out to us if you have any questions. Definitely let us know. Please subscribe to our channel as well. But do you want me to show what we're going to do next month?
Yes.
All right. Well, let me get this messy grid paper out of the way so we have a nice, clean little. Oh, my camera's crooked. Okay. Let me do this. All right. So let me show you next month we are using what's called seasonal branches. Seasonal branches is a really fun bundle. It's got this cute little bird, and then it's got some stems or some twigs here, and then you can do different seasons. So there's leaves, there are berries, there are flowers, there's a little apple here, extras that you can do. But one of the things I love about this bundle is that obviously these cut out like the whole image, right? So if I want to cut all of the berries, that'll cut the berries out for me, right? But the nice thing about it is, say that I want to do some leaves, it'll cut all of those leaves for you in one shot. You're not having to do one die hundreds of times. This will cut them out for you. And you've got 2 apples, you've got 3 flowers, you've got these leaf images. So there's multiples in here that make it nice. There's the full, you can have the details. So you can have a full twig or stem and then have the detail that goes over top of it. So there's so much you can do with this bundle. And I really think I'm going to have fun playing with this and getting ready for next month.
So
Excellent.
yeah, I was say my best friend sent me this card and it uses seasonal branches. I'm going to show it. So here's a card. This is not one of the cards we're going to do next month, but this is just a sample of how pretty it is and the detail. I mean, isn't that pretty?
I love those colors. I see. Do I not use Lost Lagoon a lot? I'm telling you, I am a happy girl since Lost Lagoon came back. So it's one of my
with it, but I couldn't find it. But I found your card. So thank you for sharing that with me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we hope that you liked everything that you saw this month. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels and follow us on Facebook. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. And anything else that we needed to add?
I can't think of anything, Betsy. I think we had a really good time. I hope everyone did. I know I did. I love stamping with you, so it doesn't matter.
Right back at you, babe. I learn new things. I always learn new things when we stamp together. Always learn new things and new ideas. So
I hope everyone watching did too. So again, just a reminder, if you didn't hear Betsy 2 seconds ago say subscribe to our YouTube channel, that helps us out a lot. And click like if you liked what you saw tonight. We really appreciate it. So
all right. Bye everybody. Have a good month and we'll see you next month.
Sounds great. Bye everybody.
Bye.